Do you constantly struggle with dissatisfaction and desire? Do you often feel unhappy because you're always wanting more, seeking external validation, and struggling to accept your current circumstances? In this video, we explore 5 essential types of acceptance that Marcus Aurelius emphasized in order to find more peace in our day-to-day life. Marcus Aurelius, one of Rome's greatest leaders, believed that instead of wishing for things to happen as we desire, we should accept the universe as it is and cultivate a flexible attitude towards the outside world while maintaining strict discipline with ourselves. However, most of us crave a pleasant life and expect our surroundings to provide us with what we need to feel content. We desire friendly people, the fulfillment of our dreams and ambitions, eternal youth, and a life free of misfortune. Often, we are dissatisfied with our bodies and innate talents, refusing to accept our flaws. In essence, being human involves a lot of wanting and very little accepting of external circumstances. The more we desire from the universe, the more we set ourselves up for disappointment. Despite our efforts, we are likely to encounter unfriendly people, face challenges in achieving our dreams, meet adversity, and inevitably age. If these unavoidable experiences distress us, we become emotionally dependent on our environment's whims. In his meditations, Marcus Aurelius repeatedly encouraged himself to embrace fate as it comes and to live well regardless of the circumstances. This video explores why it's better to accept the universe rather than oppose it and try to change it, and the 5 spheres. By adopting this Stoic perspective, we can find a more profound sense of peace and contentment, freeing ourselves from the constant struggle of wanting more and learning to appreciate what we have. 1. Accepting others. Imagine someone hurls an insulting joke at you or someone you care about. How should a Stoic sage respond? Would they react, get angry, or resort to physical violence? Marcus Aurelius advised against overreacting in such situations. If someone makes a joke at your expense, does the joke itself harm you? No, it doesn't. A joke can only hurt you if you let it. Emotions like anger, violence, and sadness are created by our own minds and are not inherent in the joke itself. Marcus Aurelius said about people speaking ill of you, add nothing of your own from within, and that's an end of it. When interacting with others, we deal with the unpredictable and uncontrollable. People vary. Some are kind and moral, while others are unpleasant and immoral. Some work hard and help, while others are lazy and take advantage. Some make jokes, and others may even use violence. Despite this, Marcus Aurelius emphasized that we all share human nature, a mix of beauty and flaws. He encouraged accepting everyone and not being disturbed by those who are evil. Marcus believed that we are here to cooperate, not to work against each other. However, reality shows that people act according to their own will, not as we wish. Their behavior is beyond our control. We can influence them, but ultimately, they will say and do what they want, no matter how irrational or foolish their actions may seem. Therefore, trying to change others is often a futile effort and a waste of energy that could be better used elsewhere. Marcus Aurelius advised, don't waste the rest of your time here worrying about other people unless it affects the common good. It will keep you from doing anything useful. You'll be too preoccupied with what so-and-so is doing, why they're doing it, what they're saying, thinking, and up to, along with all the other things that throw you off and keep you from focusing on your own mind. By following this advice, we can maintain our peace of mind and focus on what truly matters, our own thoughts, actions, and growth. 2. Accepting life's ephemeral nature. Throughout history, great thinkers, empires, and kingdoms have all eventually faded into oblivion. Marcus Aurelius likened humans to leaves that grow in the spring, only to be blown away and replaced by new ones. He was deeply aware of the fleeting nature of life and how quickly what we consider important can become mere memories. He reflected on how influential figures of the past, once significant and powerful, have long since turned to dust. Just as leaves come and go, so do the generations of humanity. We begin as a mere speck, and before we know it, we take our last breath. Our time on Earth is incredibly brief, especially when compared to the vast age of our planet and the universe. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "Forget everything else. Keep hold of this alone and remember it. Each of us lives only now, this brief instant. The rest has been lived already or is impossible to see. The span we live is small, small as the corner of the earth in which we live it. Small as even the greatest renown, passed from mouth to mouth by short-lived stick figures, ignorant alike of themselves and those long dead." For many, the transient nature of life can be a source of distress. The thought that life is so short can lead people to cling desperately to it, seeking ways to extend their time or searching for the mythical fountain of youth. However, these attempts to defy nature are futile. We are granted only a limited amount of time, most of which is spent aging. Yet, there is a silver lining to the temporary nature of everything. It means that nothing is worth worrying about. Marcus Aurelius illustrated the insignificance of reputation by pointing out, "But look at how soon we're all forgotten. The abyss of endless time that swallows it all. The emptiness of all those applauding hands, the people who praise us, how capricious they are, how arbitrary. And the tiny region in which it all takes place. The whole earth, a point in space, and most of it uninhabited." When we grasp how brief and insignificant our lives are, we realize there's no reason to stress over trivial matters. Instead, we can cherish the time we have. From a Stoic perspective, the brevity of life is also a call to action. Don't waste time. Seize the moment to pursue what truly matters to you. 3. Accepting adversity. We might wish and pray for a life without misfortune, but in reality, no one escapes the hardships of existence. Adversity is an inevitable part of life. When we fight against it, we not only suffer from the misfortune itself, but also from the frustration of facing it despite our hopes. Many people spend their time battling fate, trying to avoid the inevitable bad things that come their way. When we get sick, lose money, or face a rainy day instead of sunshine, we often complain and wish for something better. Marcus Aurelius rejected this approach to dealing with destiny. Instead of hoping for a life free from adversity, it's better to wish for the strength to handle it. This mindset is at the heart of a Stoic principle called the dichotomy of control. Some things are within our control, and others are not. It makes sense to focus on what we can control. As Marcus Aurelius put it, "Isn't it better to do what's up to you, like a free person, than to be passively controlled by what isn't, like a slave or beggar?" When we let our happiness depend on external circumstances, we give fate power over us. For example, if you constantly worry about your partner leaving you and pray for them to stay, you're letting your happiness depend on something beyond your control. According to Stoic beliefs, whatever happens is part of the God's plan, and our prayers won't change that. So instead of praying for external outcomes, Marcus Aurelius suggests we should focus on what we can control. He advised praying not for ways to get what we want, but for ways to change our desires and fears. For example, instead of praying to keep someone in your life, pray for the strength to stop wanting them. Instead of praying to avoid a bad situation, pray for the courage to face it without fear. By doing this, we align our prayers with what we can control and build inner strength. We cannot control the actions of others, not even our family members or our lover. But we can work on ourselves, developing the mental resilience to endure hardships. We can't stop people from leaving us, but we can learn to accept whatever happens and even embrace it as part of the natural order. When we accept misfortune, even the gods cannot harm us, no matter what they bring our way. 4. Accepting change. Nature's default state is change. Everything is born from it and nothing remains static. Not only does the universe around us change, but we also change, with our body's cells constantly renewing themselves until we die. Marcus Aurelius saw change as a natural process that ultimately benefits the whole. He compared it to our bodies replacing old parts with new ones. While it may be unfortunate for the individual parts, it's beneficial for the body as a whole. Similarly, our environment constantly engages in self-maintenance, replacing old elements with new ones, always seeking the most optimal circumstances. This continuous change is part of nature's plan, leading to the good health of the world and the well-being and prosperity of Zeus himself. Unlike transience, which is about the temporary nature of things, change is the process of things becoming different. There's never a fixed state in the universe. Change is always happening. Even seemingly unchanging objects like a calm landscape or a rock in the surf are undergoing change, though less visibly than, say, our lips when we talk or someone's posture when they run. Some creatures, like the mayfly, live for just 24 hours, while others, like the glass sponge, can live for more than 10,000 years. Many planets exist for billions of years, yet none of these things are eternal. Change creates them, and change will eventually destroy them. Without change, life wouldn't be possible. As Marcus Aurelius stated, the world is nothing but change. Ironically, even though we are born from change, we often fear it. Many people cling to situations, objects, people, and ideas, wishing they'd remain unchanged forever. But the change they fear is already happening, and it's only a matter of time before these alterations become visible. When the sun shines, a storm is on its way. When it's summer, autumn is already approaching. Trying to keep things the same is like trying to hold water in your hands, expecting it never to flow out. As Marcus Aurelius put it, some things are rushing into existence, others out of it. Some of what now exists is already gone. Change and flux constantly remake the world, just as the incessant progression of time remakes eternity. We find ourselves in a river. Which of the things around us should we value when none of them can offer a firm foothold? Like an attachment to a sparrow, we glimpse it and it's gone. 5. Accepting yourself. Many people struggle with accepting their natural attributes, such as their appearance, physical limitations, and the inevitability of aging and death. However, Marcus Aurelius urged himself to embrace the limits of his body and be content with his life. He reminded himself to understand the nature of the world, his place in it, and to live harmoniously within it. Some individuals may have more athletic bodies, while others possess greater intellects. While we can change certain aspects of ourselves to a degree, we are ultimately bound by our natural limits. We can choose to focus on our weaknesses and strive for things we're not naturally suited for, or we can embrace our strengths and excel in what we are inherently good at. The Stoics highlighted that a unique aspect of human nature is our ability to reason. Unlike other sentient beings, humans have the capacity for rational thought. This rational faculty allows us to transcend our basic animalistic nature. Instead of being controlled by our passions, we have the power to use reason to guide our actions. Marcus Aurelius provided an example of how he used reason to accept the world, both good and bad, despite his natural instincts urging otherwise. He said, "People find pleasure in different ways. I find it in keeping my mind clear, in not turning away from people or the things that happen to them, in accepting and welcoming everything I see, in treating each thing as it deserves." Humans can choose this attitude because of our ability to reason. Our nature allows us to overcome our animalistic urges and follow a wiser path. Instead of blindly chasing our desires, we can recognize how these tendencies can lead to misery. By understanding how things work, we can see that fighting against fate only brings distress. Therefore, accepting external circumstances, even when unpleasant, becomes a rational and wise decision. As we conclude this exploration of Marcus Aurelius's teachings on acceptance, let's reflect on the profound wisdom he offers us. The constant struggle with dissatisfaction and desire can cloud our minds and rob us of inner peace. By embracing the philosophy of acceptance, we can transform our outlook on life. Imagine the freedom that comes with letting go of constant wanting, and instead finding contentment in the present moment. When we accept other people as they are, recognize the transience of life, face misfortune with courage, welcome change, and embrace our true nature, we unlock a powerful sense of peace and fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius shows us that true strength lies not in resisting the world, but in harmonizing with it. We can focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot, thus freeing ourselves from unnecessary stress and anxiety. Acceptance is not about surrendering to fate. It's about mastering our responses and finding joy in the journey, regardless of the circumstances. Take these teachings to heart. Practice acceptance daily and witness how it transforms your life. Embrace the present, cherish your strengths, and approach each day with the wisdom of a Stoic. Remember, peace and happiness are within your reach, and it all starts with the simple act of acceptance. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If these insights resonated with you, consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Together, let's continue to explore the art of living with purpose, resilience, and serenity. Until next time, live well and stay grounded in the wisdom of the Stoics.